Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our main event for UFC Perth. In the main event, we have the Black Jag Carlos Ulberg taking on former title challenger, the Devastator Dominick Reyes. Ulberg is 12-1 as a professional, five, yeah, 5-5 in his last five fights. Overall, riding an 8-fight win streak. Meanwhile, Reyes is 15-5 as a professional, 3-2 in his last five fights, riding himself a 3-fight win streak. Just looking at this overall, this is a massive fight for the division, and it's kind of hunting season at light heavyweight because this card, whoever wins, will probably get a title shot. At the same time, however, next week at UFC 320, we will have the title being up for grabs as Pereira rematches Ankalaev. And we also have Yuri Prohaska versus Khalil Roundtree. With the winner of that fight, you would suspect also might get a title shot, depending on how things play out in the main event, and overall how this fight plays out, and how that fight plays out. Whoever wins more spectacularly, I would believe, get the title shot. That's usually how this works. Now, looking at their overall careers, Reyes has been on a resurgence as of late. I'm sure most of you know the story, but if you don't, allow me to divulge. Reyes at the time was an undefeated prospect and a very good athlete, former college football player in California, and seemingly was great on the rise, beating names like OSP, Cannonier when he was at light heavyweight, Volkan Oezdemir. Finally, he got the title shot when Chris Weidman decided to venture into light heavyweight. After that, I'm sure all of you know the story. He fought John Jones, in a fight where I too believe he should have won 3-2 out of the 5 rounds, but the judges gave it to Jones. And seemingly, he was the uncrowned champion when Jones left the division. Then afterwards, he went on overall, this is a 4-fight skid, but the next 3 fights were pretty terrible to watch. He fought Jan Blachowicz for the vacant belt, got knocked out and blown out of the water. He fights Yuri Prohaska, where he gets 3 different parts of his face broken with a spinning back elbow to fight Yuri. And then in easily his worst loss in his career, he gets knocked out by a jab by Ryan Spann all the way back at UFC 281. After that, he went on basically an 18-month hiatus. Now, he was actually supposed to fight Ulberg back at UFC 297 last January, but I'm forgetting if it was Ulberg or Reyes who pulled out. But then they tried to reschedule the fight. I know Reyes pulled out, but eventually he gets his first win in years when he knocks out Dustin Jacoby last June, then gets a TKO win over Anthony Smith last December at UFC 310. And now, most recently, he knocks out Nikita Krylov at UFC 314. In fun fact, I was actually live for that, and I remember the whole building exploding with that knockout. Everyone was on their feet, so happy to see Reyes get this win. And it's quite nice. This is a great resurgence, and overall a great story in light heavyweight. Meanwhile, for Ulberg, he's been slowly but surely rising up the ranks. After losing his debut to Kenny Nzechukwu, he's been on an 8-fight tear, knocking out most of his opponents by vicious fashion, and doing the type of things you love to see from a prospect turned contender to possibly a title challenger, slowly climb up the ranks, with each fight getting progressively tougher. Particularly in these last 5 fights, destroys Ion Putieria, submits Dawu Zhong. Then in his next 3 fights, all ranked contenders. He destroys Alonzo Menefiel in 12 seconds, where Menefiel just decided to bum rush him, which is a terrible idea. Then he beats Volkan Oezdemir last November, and now most recently this March he gets the biggest win of his career. And even if he beats Reyes, I still think this is the biggest win of his career, where he beats Jan Blachowicz. Granted, in a nit and tuck decision, which I quite frankly was surprised wasn't a split decision. Honestly, what's crazy is, you actually look at their, overall specs, their age and all that, they're practically the same. Now, Reyes is a bit older by a year at 35, while Ulberg himself is 34. But they're actually the same height at 6'4", and the same reach at 77 inches. Now, in terms of the overall technical breakdown, it's mostly going to be contested on feet. Ulberg has shown, he's steadily improved the takedown defense pretty well. He even got Dong Woo Jo via submission, showing he's rounding out his game to be a well-rounded threat in mixed martial arts. But if this were to be contested on the ground, I'd pick Reyes to do it because he has much more athleticism. He's shown to pivot towards wrestling when need to. And if Ulberg were to try to take Reyes down, I don't think it would work. Reyes has excellent takedown defense. I mean, this guy was stuffing down takedowns by John Jones, of all people. So this will mostly contest on the feet. Now that's where it gets really interesting, and this is what I've been looking forward to breaking down how they fight on the feet, because they're completely different in some aspects, but very the same in others. Reyes and Ulberg is going to be southpaw versus orthodox. Reyes being the southpaw, Ulberg being the orthodox. But both have the same type of weapon. What I mean is their left hands are easily their best weapon. For Ulberg, it's his check left hook, where a lot of opponents make a terrible mistake where they try to rush him, and he just simply dips out of the way, and he doesn't even put much power to it. He just winds up the hook like boing, and gets out, and he perfectly sidesteps. And these opponent, and either he hits with a lot more power than I'm thinking, or it's just the perfect punch. Because every time he hits these people with his check left hook, they either fall flat on their face, knocked out, or stunned badly and are on their knees. It's pretty spectacular to watch this type of counter punching in light heavyweight, where the skill gap is pretty apparent in comparison to some of the other weight classes. He also has a pretty devastating jab. It's not your typical, like, I throw this jab, boom, I reset my stance. He keeps it out there, and it's more like a hammer jab, where his arm and his fist are more of a vertical angle instead of where you normally see him twist to the horizontal. This way, whenever opponents do try and rush in, he just jabs. It's kind of like fencing. He's just sticking it out there, and when an opponent tries to rush him, he just sticks it out, and they basically run into his fist with their face. Reyes is a bit different. His best punch, like I said, is also his left hand, but it's more so the pullback counter, a la when more like Conor McGregor. I mean, you just saw in his most recent fight with Krylov, where Krylov, I don't know why, I don't know if it was a time off, but he started rushing Reyes with his hands down, and Reyes just sidestepped, left cross down the pipe, and literally you could see all that momentum carried Krylov just face down on the mat. He's done that a few times. When it comes to their kicks, both have pretty devastating kicks from all around. I would say Ulberg is much better with the calf kicks, and overall the better kicking game, because he has the kickboxing experience. Plus he's with City Kickboxing, and they are notorious for their quick, maybe not damaging kicks, but racking up points. Just outside, calf kick, outside, calf kick, outside, head kick. Doesn't matter. They're very good at points over power when it comes to their kicks. I'd say Reyes is definitely more devastating with his kicks. I mean, I saw what you see with the OSP fight where he just knocked him out. Granted, by that time the bell had rung, so it went to the decision. But should have been a knockout. He does, and most, like I said, he doesn't throw the calf kick as much. He mostly throws powerful head kicks. But the big aspect of this fight that I really think comes down to, both are very good on their back foot and the front foot. Trick is, they don't always fight the same when it comes to that. Ulberg will play the matador, and it often leads to success. But when he needs to, he's very good at playing the bull and attacking people with his very precise shot selection. Like Dong Joe, he was picking him apart. He was mostly in the front foot on that fight. Or the Volkan Oezdemir fight, where Oezdemir is very tough. So Reyes was just kind of playing matador, letting Oezdemir come to him and just picking him apart. Reyes does the same thing. And most of the time he's on the back foot, but he's such a good athlete that he's able to string his punches. I do think Ulberg's better with his punching combinations than Reyes. Both are snipers, but I think Reyes fights more of a sniper-esque, where he usually just needs one punch to really change the fight. You don't see him throw too many combinations in comparison to Ulberg. So I think shot for shot, Reyes would be the harder hitter. But back to where I was saying, you see Reyes either on the front foot or the back foot. You've seen him on the back foot when he was hurt by Jacoby. Then when he hurts Jacoby, he's on the front foot and finishes the fight. Then the Krylov fight, you see him mostly circle away, back up, boom, he hits the knockout shot. Then you see other fights, mostly back before the skid, like against Jared Cannonier. He was mostly on the front foot in that fight. OSP, mostly on the front foot. And then you look at the John Jones performance and show he's actually one of the more devastating light heavyweights in the clinch, because John Jones is not dominating you in the clinch like he does everybody else. You were very good in that department. Whether it be defending the takedowns, attacking with knees, attacking with elbows, separating, attacking off the break. He's very good at that. Ah, boy. I don't like the odds for this fight, I'm going to be honest. Minus 250 for Ulberg, plus 200 for Reyes. I understand why, because this Ulberg is riding a really nice win streak, and there's still some questions on Reyes' chin. You saw him get hurt by Jacoby, but since then, he hasn't really gotten touched up, because at least his defense has shown to get hurt. There's always a hand on the side of his head to block incoming attacks. So, he's shown much better defensive instincts. That's the word. He's shown much better defensive instincts than he did previously in his career. But I'll tell you this, man. If this was first scheduled like it was originally supposed to be at UFC 297, Ulberg would be much bigger of a favorite. I can tell you that right now. This is actually much trickier of a fight, I feel like, to pick, because like I said, if this was the Reyes on the losing streak, I'd pick Ulberg, no doubt. But with this resurgence, and seemingly his confidence has returned to him, I think Reyes is actually kind of a live underdog in this. Again, it really depends. I see this could go to the decision. It's mostly, I think it's whoever is perfectly has octagon control. I don't necessarily think one fighter who's on the back foot's going to lose. At the same time, I don't see one fighter who's constantly rushing in is going to win. It really depends on how they smartly choose to press the action and then back off. I'd see that. It's going to be a chess match for a majority. That being said, I think whoever lands the first impactful shot wins the fight. Because after that, they can see they hurt each other. Both don't necessarily have iron chins. I think Ulberg does have better durability. But he's been knocked out before by Kennedy and Jetsuku. And we know Reyes isn't the most reliable in terms of his durability. He's shown better defensive instincts, like I've said, but we don't know how he can take it. Because I do believe with one well-placed check left hook or right cross from Ulberg can see if his durability's returned. I don't think it has. And definitely just hurt him. That being said, I see Reyes being able to hurt him with his own left hook, with his right hook, his left cross. I do see each other being able to hurt each other. But again, I think it all depends on who is the better tactician, who is better at dictating when they're going to come forward, when they're going to lean back, when they're going to advance and press the action, or let the action come to them. But, like I said, or I gotta stop saying that all the time. Basically, what I think I'm trying to say is whoever lands the impactful shot first and sets it up properly is going to win. But with all that being said, I'm going to pick Dominick Reyes. It's a risky pick, I understand. And 2-1 favorite against a streaking Ulberg is not ideal. But I do believe Reyes has shown to be better in 5-round fights. He has 5-round experience with John Jones, and while his other 5-round and against Blachowicz, against Yuri. Now, granted, those fights ended in about the second round, but he has proven to have the cardio to go 5 rounds. This is Ulberg's first 5-round fight, so it'll be interesting to see how his cardio plays out. I think it'll be fine, if I'm being honest, though. Because if this is mostly going to be contested on the feet, I think Ulberg does have 5 rounds for kickboxing for sure. And maybe I think, now I said Ulberg's takedown defense has improved, but Reyes might be the best wrestler he's fought. I know Jan Blachowicz is pretty good grappler himself, but I do believe Reyes has the more explosive takedowns and better takedown technique. So I think he can also help pivot that to his advantage. And I see him being able to set up better traps than Ulberg's had. Ulberg's fought one other southpaw, that's Ihor Putieria, who's not as good as Reyes, obviously. And so I think the southpaw stance for Reyes is going to help him set up his attacks much better. Plus, in the southpaw, that lead calf kick is not as available as if they were both orthodox. And it leaves Reyes open to his own powerful kicks as well. Plus, the left cross will be much more open, while in comparison, Ulberg's check left hook won't be as available as with the lead hand. Reyes should be able to put it back and defend as well. So with the southpaw advantages he has, I'm going to pick Dominick Reyes. I think he can win via knockout. Overall, though, I feel like this is a very nip-tuck fight. It really depends on who lands that first shot. A really impactful shot that's going to win this fight. That being said, that's been my prediction for this matchup. If you liked the video, comment and subscribe. Let me know who you think is going to win this very important clash at light heavyweight for the main event. With that being said, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. Thank you all for listening. Take care.